Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Styles at Custom Corpses here. Okay, I don't know how good the color shows up here. Basically, what I have here is I did some hair. I dyed some hair. Now, I used RIT hair dye. I used a very dark brown. And these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strands are not nearly as dark as these 3 strands. There's a purpose for that. I'm actually going to mix the hair color to give you that variation like they did on the original mask, the Halloween Michael Myers mask, because they used a spray paint, black spray paint. And I find when you use a black spray paint, the hair gets real sticky. The paint will come off onto your hands, and that's exactly what happened to the original mask. But I don't think people want their mask to get destroyed as they touch the hair. And the hair, the paint will come out of the hair eventually. So instead, I've decided to dye the hair that goes on the mask, and I cut them into strands, as you can see, and I knot them at the end. Now this is a natural wool. This isn't like artificial hair. You can't really dye artificial hair. It's a wool. So what I'm doing is the way this is if I just pull on this, these are fiber. These are fine fibers, and they're woven together. So you just pull on that, and it'll come apart every 4. I guess around 4 inches. About 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches is about all the fibers are in length. So when they're woven together like that, you can pull them apart. So I made each section about 3 foot long, maybe 4, and I got some of it hanging over one side and the other hanging on this side. But these fibers here, these 3 strands here are darker, and I'm going to kind of, as I'm putting them on the mask, as I put the hair on the mask, I'm going to mix the fibers together. And then when you comb it out, once it's dry, once you comb it out, the black will, the dark brown, it's not black, it looks black, but it's dark brown, will kind of blend with the brighter hair, and it'll give you that spray paint look. That's what I did. Now, if you guys don't know how to dye hair, you want to use a stainless steel pot. If you're doing it on the stove in a pot, I used a pretty big pot. I put about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water. Then I mixed vinegar, because anytime you mix with natural fibers, you have to use vinegar. There's different on the ingredients. If you look at the instructions on your RIT dye, it'll tell you what type of fabric needs what. Some fabric needs salt added to the water and dye, and some types of fabric need vinegar. With this is wool, and it needed vinegar, so I added probably 1/2 cup of vinegar to the 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water. I brought it to a boil. Then I stuck these strands as I knotted them. I pulled them apart at about 4 foot sections, 3.5 foot sections. And then what I did was I knotted them on the end, and I stuck them into the dye and let them sit in there for probably about a half hour for the lighter brown, and 45 minutes to the dark brown, because it really kicks all of a sudden. So that's basically what I did, and this is how I prepared the hair this time. I wanted the hair darker for the Myers mask. It was too bright, too light, and now it should be just right. It'll give you that original 78 look, the darker hair. And I'm going to try a different method on hairing and styling to really give it an authentic, real good look of the original mask. That's my goal. Right now, this has got to dry. I'm probably going to let this dry until tomorrow. I'm outside here on my back deck, my little workshop, and I am going to let this dry overnight and then pull it in and start preparing the mask that I have done already. And I'm going to start hairing that mask with this hair, and that should look really amazing when I'm done. So I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. I know we're halfway through it, Saturday. Peace, be safe, and have a great week. See ya.